Badlands. Explain those Badlands. That's a hell of a name.
Did you know that Bitcoin is now a top 5 global asset? Now's the time to buy, and River's here to help. Prepare to maximize your Bitcoin returns without the emotion. Introducing River AI, a Bitcoin advisor at your fingertips. Stop trying to time the market, do it with confidence. At River, you get 0 fee recurring buys, 3.8% Bitcoin interest on cash, US-based support, business accounts, and so much more. Don't forget about Bitcoin interest on cash, which can accelerate your business growth too. Businesses can now earn 3.8% interest on cash paid in Bitcoin. There's more money to fuel your next big move. Get started at badlandsmedia.tv/river. Move your cash to River today and start earning a real interest rate with Bitcoin. The future is now. That's badlandsmedia.tv/river. Welcome, ladies and gents. May 9th. How you doing, Nate?
Doing good, man. How about yourself?
Doing fantastic. Good to see all of you guys again. We took a couple of weeks off there, but we're back at it. MAHA news.
How was GART?
On in the realm of Make America Healthy Again. A lot of drama. Of drama, man. Trump's coming out with some picks, and it's confusing people, I guess. It looks to be some internal conflict within MAHA. I don't know. I don't. Do you have a dog in the fight?
No, man. I just want to see what's best for kids and American people. That's it. And so if a person performs, I am behind them. If they don't, get them gone.
Yeah, I don't really have a dog in the fight either. I don't know. There's just a lot of drama going on with some of these nominations of Trump. Some people love him. Some people hate the nominations. I notice some folks that are detractors that hate the nominations. They're going back like 4 or 5 years and digging up real old tweets and old statements.
Yeah.
Which is good to do, but people can always change their mind, right? And a lot of people changed their mind right around COVID.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but we'll see what people have to say. We'll see who these nominations are, and then we'll go through some statements from RFK Jr. in podcasts and in the media over the past week. Great things. They banned gain-of-function research. RFK Jr. exposing some of the human trafficking that was going on under Biden's HHS a couple of years ago. And then some other news as well. Florida banning geoengineering. So cool. We got a lot of good stuff on deck.
Let's dive in, sir.
Let's get it. So Trump's nomination for Surgeon General. Trump posted this yesterday on Truth Social saying, "I'm pleased to announce that Dr. Casey Means will be nominated as our next Surgeon General of the U.S. Casey has impeccable MAHA credentials and will work closely with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to ensure successful implementation of our agenda in order to reverse the chronic disease epidemic and ensure great health for all Americans," et cetera, et cetera. Secretary Kennedy looks forward to working with Dr. Jeanette. How would you say that last name?
Neshawat?
Neshawat. In another capacity at HHS. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So we'll get to Dr. Casey Means in a moment, and we'll look at some of the support and also some of the not support she's getting, causing quite the drama fest within MAHA. But this woman, who was the original Surgeon General pick, Trump had nominated her, I think back in November, quite a while ago, 6-7 months ago. Jeanette, how do you say that last name, Nate?
Neshawat. Neshawat.
Neshawat. I don't know.
I think the T is silent. You got to get that wah in there.
Wah. Trump nominated her a while back, but her nomination was pulled. Now, just before Nate and I started recording here, I was looking up her background because we weren't familiar with who this person was at all. Looks like she's been a medical contributor on Fox News, medical director for a healthcare company, etc. But I noticed that She was married to Mike Waltz. And for those unfamiliar, Mike Waltz was Trump's national security advisor, who just a few days ago, I don't know if he resigned or Trump fired him, but he is no longer Trump's national security advisor. So I wonder if Julia's nomination getting pulled had anything to do with her marriage to Mike Waltz. Just a thought.
Yeah, a little conflict of interest or something happening in there.
Oh, for sure, for sure. But she is no longer the nominee now.
But she's still working within the organization somewhere, right? That's what.
Yeah, at least that's what Trump says here. At least that's what he says in his public post. So, don't know if that was a PR statement or who knows. But she's no longer the nominee for Surgeon General. Now it's Dr. Casey Means. And Robert F. Kennedy has something to say about that. Tweeting here this morning, the Surgeon General is a symbol of moral authority who stands against the financial and institutional gravities that tend to corporatize medicine. Casey Means was born to hold this job. She will provide our country with ethical guidance, wisdom, and gold standard medical advice, even when it challenges popular orthodoxies. She will be a juggernaut against the ossified medical conventions that have helped make our people the sickest in the world at the highest cost per capita. Casey is a breath of fresh air, and we can't wait for her to get started at HHS. Thank you, Trump, for nominating her. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, based on some of the interviews that I saw of her, she seems to be on point as far as, looking at like some of the core issues that are impacting American youth and like general population. So like based on what I saw and what she's discussing, as long as she holds true to that, I think that she's going to lead America in a good direction. So I'm kind of excited to see what happens. All the baloney aside.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't say I really love her, but I don't not like her. I will say that both of the Means siblings, Callie Means and Casey Means, they did kind of come out of nowhere a couple of years ago, but I don't say that in a negative way because COVID and the topic of health was the most prominent subject in the world. So naturally, a lot of alternative doctors or healthcare practitioners that question the orthodoxy, a lot came to prominence very fast around 2021, right? So
yeah,
Dr. Robert Malone and Peter McCullough and a ton of others kind of came out of nowhere, rose to prominence real quick, and in large part for good reason. So I'm not holding that against Casey and Callie Means that they kind of came out of nowhere. But then they got featured on Joe Rogan's podcast, and I've listened to a lot more of Callie Means than I have of Casey Means. I really like what Callie Means has to say. I mean, I haven't really questioned anything he said. I think he's been great. And from the little bit I have heard of Casey Means, I think she's been great as well. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not like super excited for him. I don't know that much about him, but I'm not excited. So,
well, I mean, I think what's really cool to see is that these people are getting placed in positions of prominence who are talking about the real issues that America has been facing as far as the health epidemics.
1,000%. They're just clearly not corporate shills.
Yes, exactly. And that's, man, you know what? That's all I want. Like, I just want real people who are willing to address real topics and not just be a shill for big pharma selling another drug, and glossing over the fact, that America is sick.
The same kind of mouthpiece that says vaccines are safe and effective that we've dealt with for 50 years.
Yeah.
So here is okay. So now let's get into some of the drama, some of the detractors, what they have to say about Casey Means, and we'll analyze. So I want to go through this quick thread here that was just posted a few moments ago, but it does a good job highlighting kind of the infighting between in MAHA. So Trump's Surgeon General pick sparks outrage among frontline COVID doctors and MAGA influencers. Trump replaces Jeanette with Dr. Casey Means at the last minute, triggering infighting. When Trump took office in January, he nominated Fox News contributor Dr. Jeanette for Surgeon General. Backlash was immediate because Neshawat had long supported experimental COVID shots and wrote Fox News op-eds pushing strict mitigation like double masking. So, okay, that explains why she wasn't liked. Also, maybe that marriage to Mike Waltz, but definitely not going to be a fan favorite if you're pushing shots and double masks.
No.
Now enter her replacement, Dr. Casey Means, a Stanford-trained MD turned wellness influencer, deeply tied to RFK Jr.'s MAHA movement. Means left surgical residency to focus on lifestyle medicine like food, exercise, sunlight, and sleep over pills and pharma. Okay.
I think it's a little bit deeper than that because I was listening to her to actually talk about that. And she said that she was focusing on metabolic dysfunction, which is something that she never was taught, she said, in her entire time going through med school.
I mean, I've seen some people attack Casey Means like, "Ooh, she didn't finish her residency." But I would much rather have a practitioner who woke up while they were in college and dropped out rather than some dumbass who finished all of it and is just sucked into the system, right?
Yeah.
So honestly, I don't hold that against her at all. That might even give her points in my book.
Yeah,
having the courage to drop out of residency because you woke up and realized it was bullshit.
Yeah, the amount of money that's poured into, conditioning the students that go through there is profound. So, for her to, like you said, for her to make that move and to step away, that's a plus.
So I've seen some people use that to attack her, and it's like, I don't find that a problem at all. Yep. Casey and her brother Callie Means of RFK Jr.'s top HHS aides rose to prominence promoting their book and MAHA vision on huge podcasts like Tucker, Rogan, Maher, and Huberman. Callie Means is also credited with brokering the post-assassination call between RFK Jr. and Trump, uniting MAHA and MAGA. Cool. But now backlash is mounting. Frontline doctors, influencers, and even RFK's own VP pick Nicole Shanahan are sounding the alarm. Their central criticism, Casey Means doesn't have an active medical license and may have never finished residency. Critics say she lacks qualifications and accuse the siblings of staging a quiet takeover of HHS.
That seems a bit excessive.
Seems quite excessive. Again, Casey Means never finished her residency. Okay. I'm not going to blame her. I wouldn't want to pay Stanford Medical School hundreds of thousands of dollars for a garbage education.
Yeah, that she decided she's not going to use anyway.
Honestly, that sounds like it might be a smart move to me. So
now her brother is saying that she did finish residency. I find it odd that there's even a debate about this. You would think that would be easily accessible to find that information.
Good point as well. Also, active medical license. So, do you find this to be a problem?
No, I don't. I mean, it's not like she's not going to be picking up a surgical knife and operating on anybody.
Let's see. Pete Hegseth was not working for Lockheed when he was nominated as Secretary of Defense. Is that an issue? It's like, no, it's like the propagandist media was using that exact narrative to attack people like Kash Patel and Pete Hegseth, saying that they don't have experience in this industry. They're unqualified, blah, 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 blah. It's not like Casey Means is going to be conducting surgeries as Surgeon General.
Yeah.
It's more of a placeholder position, more of an administrative or bureaucratic position. So what is an active medical license necessarily? What? Why is that all important again?
Yeah.
At least for that position.
Okay. I mean, and we've seen how those, having an active license can be used to crush people.
Right. Or it could mean there's special interests. Like, oh, she has an active medical license, so she's going to want her, pharma money at her clinic. So there might be conflict of interest there. Something like that, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I mean, shit. If you're going in and you're going in to do some damage to big pharma, imagine if you did have an active and they're like, the big pharma comes after that person and says, you've lost, and now they're able to say, oh, she's lost her medical license. Like, to me, that kind of seems like that's just like it's an easy target for big pharma to discredit somebody.
Good point as well. Or use that as leverage for them to bend the knee.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's see. In a surprising turn of events, Nicole Shanahan, RFK Jr.'s former running mate, weighed in on the situation. We'll take a look at that in a moment. Laura Loomer also went crazy and started attacking her. We'll take a look at that in a moment too. And some other people have not been fans of Casey Means as well. Dr. Jack Kruse went even further. The book's agent, Klaus Schwab's handpicked operative? I don't know about that. Some of this is just too far, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely stirred up when you look at, it seems like it's stirred up just as much noise as, well, close to it, Kash Patel and Pete Hegseth.
Yeah.
And, this is really stirred up a hornet's nest around Casey Means coming in.
For sure. A lot of it just seems to be like personal gripe. Not like, let's take a look at some of these detractors. So at TPV John, the Patriot Voice, one of the most unstable men on Twitter, at least over the past few months. He's gone really down the black pill drain. Let's see. Trump said she has impeccable MAHA credentials, but nothing could be further from the truth. The U.S. Surgeon General position requires and implies that person is either a top surgeon or a doctor, but it doesn't appear that Casey is either of those things. Casey is supposedly a doctor, but has never actually completed a residency. She now an inactive medical license status in her state. I think he's missing a couple of words there. I just want to look up who the previous surgeon generals were.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do that in a moment. Let's keep looking at these attackers. So we kind of covered these things. I personally don't think it matters that she didn't complete her residency and inactive medical license. Ooh, big deal. So what? Here's Laura Loomer. Laura Loomer, I think she puts out some good reports now and again, but she is incredibly emotional. It's like all the time I'm wondering with her, is it that time of the month?
Hold on. I'm sorry, dude. Okay, so you talked about the previous Surgeon Generals.
Yeah.
The previous Surgeon General, Sylvia Trent Adams, 2017 to current, was a PhD and an RN, but was not an MD.
Where'd you get that?
That got this from Grok.
Sylvia, what name?
Sylvia Trent Adams.
Oh, she was there in 2017. She was like 4 surgeon generals ago.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Hold up. I have okay, we'll take a look at Laura Loomer and her complete in a moment, but here's the list.
Oh, you had it up. Cool.
Hold on. I think this is...
Yeah, Surgeon General.
Is this the list?
Jerome Adams. Why do I have that from 2017 to 2021? Yeah, Jerome Adams. Yeah, that's it.
Looks like it was Vivek Murthy under Biden.
Yep.
This guy co-chaired Biden's COVID advisory board. Wonderful. Oh, and he was the U.S. representative on the WHO's executive board. Wonderful.
Ah.
Oh, look, he received the Soros Fellowship.
What an outstanding gentleman.
Harvard.
Yeah. So he played ball with Deep State.
He made a couple $1 million consulting for Netflix, Airbnb, Estee Lauder.
Yeah.
Murthy criticized social media companies over the presence of COVID misinformation on their platforms. All right, shit. Let a freaking residency dropout, inactive medical license person take over that job. Still going to be better.
Yeah.
Whatever. Okay, we got to take a look at Loomer here because Loomer is off her rocker.
Yeah, back to that time of the month. She just goes batshit crazy sometimes. It's like sometimes I'm like, I appreciate what she says, and then other times, dude, it's like, whoa, what happened?
Dude, totally unstable. President Trump's pick for U.S. Surgeon General Casey Means said she prays to inanimate objects, communicates with spirit mediums, and uses shrooms as plant medicine and talks to trees. The inmates are running the asylum. This is literally from one of Casey Means' newsletters. I have the entire page archived. Oh no. She's a witch doctor. She's a total crackpot, shroom consumer. I guess here's all the parts from Casey Means' newsletter that Laura Loomer highlighted. Oh, God forbid that somebody does plant medicine, mushrooms. Sounds like Laura Loomer needs some mushrooms.
I mean, it sounds to me like she's Casey Means is like trying to.
She's just a hippie
herself. Yeah, I mean,
she's just a hippie. So what?
She's just a way to call it like it is.
She's just a hippie, and the best kind of people are like the conservative leaning hippies. Not too conservative, not liberal, but like right in the middle.
Yeah.
Right. Oh no, she talked to trees. Big deal.
It made wishes on heads up pennies. Sounds like she's loving life, man.
She made wishes when she saw 11/11. Okay. Yep. Big deal. Like fucking Laura Loomer, man. And that's the issue with some of this like religious fundamentalism is that it's very rigid and people just they don't critically think. It's not critically thought out. And I mean, yeah, I don't do full moon ceremonies and all that, but so what if somebody does? That doesn't mean they're demonic and shit. It's just absolutely retarded to automatically throw people who don't believe exactly what you believe into some demonic witchcraft box.
Yeah. I'm just kind of like, okay, well, let's just step back and just see how she performs, you know? Like,
yeah, exactly. And Laura Loomer's automatically calling her a Marxist tree hugger. Dude, Laura, maybe, I don't know, go on a vacation away from Florida and go hug a tree. Hug a tree, do some mushrooms, see how you feel. It'd probably help you calm down.
Yeah, and stop the all caps posts. All caps.
Look at this guy. I like Casey more now. Right?
Oh, shoot.
And I mean, a lot of these religious fundamentalists, they honestly do the same shit as the New Agers that they attack. So talking to spirits, praying to spirits and ancestors, and talking to inanimate objects, this sort of stuff. Freaking Catholics pray to inanimate objects all the time.
Very good point.
I don't know. There's all this hate between religious and spiritual New Age people, and it's like they're kind of the same. They do the same things. They just call it different names.
Yeah.
But anyway. Then we got Nicole Shanahan here. This was RFK Jr.'s former VP pick. For some reason, she's got some beef. I don't know exactly what her beef is. She doesn't expand much upon it here, but Nicole Shanahan says, yeah, it's very strange. Doesn't make any sense. I was promised that if I supported RFK Jr. in his Senate confirmation, that neither of these siblings would be working under HHS or in an appointment. I don't know if RFK very clearly lied to me or what is going on. It's been clear in recent conversations that he is reporting to someone regularly who is controlling his decisions, and it isn't Trump. With regards to the siblings, there is something very artificial and aggressive about them, almost like they were bred and raised Manchurian assets.
That's a pretty hard fork or shift for Nicole.
That's hardcore, man, yeah. Although, let's not forget, Nicole Shanahan made her billions from simply being married to the founder of Google. And she used to be married to the founder of Google. So, I mean...
Yeah.
It's just a lot of... I noticed that a lot of these attackers are women. Is this just like crabs in a bucket women jealousy going on here? Like Dr. Suzanne Humphreys, Nicole Shanahan... Laura Loomer.
I mean, yeah, with access to social media and
Patriot Voice John, he's basically a woman.
Like we just see, I think we see a lot more of, like the dynamics, the social dynamics of all this stuff than we used to. Is
it just jealousy? Is that what it is?
Well, dude, for her to be promised before supporting RFK, that means that does that mean that she was promised this before RFK started running for vice president? Or was it just when he took the appointment?
Yeah, she didn't. There's a lot left to be said there that she didn't expand upon.
Yeah.
She left a lot to the imagination with this one, which... if she's trying to be very vague and careful, maybe I can understand, but also how are you going to leave us hanging on a cliff like that? You should probably expand on some of this shit if you're going to suggest they're Manchurian candidates and all that stuff. Or maybe Nicole Shanahan has some skeletons in her own closet and RFK just used her for her money or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, maybe Nicole Shanahan herself is a shill and she's pissed because she got used by these people. I don't know. It just sounds like a lot of just catty, petty jealousy here.
I mean, it's my understanding. Like, so when you kind of step back and look at all of the heat and all the drama that this is creating, it's my understanding that the Surgeon General is kind of just like a mouthpiece for like a public figure for, was it just for public health leadership?
Yeah. Kind of like Kennedy says here, the Surgeon General is a symbol of moral authority who stands against corporatized institutional bullshit. So I don't think the Surgeon General really has much of any power.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna read Wiki real quick. What's their job really? I don't.
I have a.
They're just a spokesperson. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just a spokesperson on matters of public health.
Guidance on health policy, working with HHS.
Responsibilities. The Surgeon General reports to the Assistant Secretary for Health. They hand out public health awards and decorations. And the office periodically issues health warnings. Like the Surgeon General's warning label on cigarettes. Yeah, it's totally administrative. It's totally bureaucratic. Yeah. It's like just a placeholder. So, okay. Dropped out of residency, not licensed, license is inactive, blah, blah, blah. I don't give a shit. As long as she stands up to the institutionalized orthodoxy, then okay.
I mean, time will tell, right?
Yeah.
We give it a few years and we see what the trajectory is for the public health, and if we're all doing better, she wins.
Wouldn't even need a couple of years. You just give her a couple of months and you'll be able to sniff out whether she's for real or not, right?
True. Yeah.
And even if Casey Means does get, when and if she does get nominated Surgeon General, when have you ever known the name of a Surgeon General in your lifetime?
Yeah, true. That is very true.
We'll probably hear nothing about her when she gets sworn in.
I don't know, man. I'm just, my gut is telling me that she's going to make some waves.
It just seems like a nothing burger nomination, honestly, to me.
Yeah.
Not a big deal. Not like she'd be able to do anything, much of anything there anyway. So I don't know. Bunch of re for nothing here, man. And here is RFK responding to these attacks. The absurd attacks on Casey Means reveal just how far off course the healthcare conversations have veered, and how badly entrenched interests, including Big Food and its industry-funded social media gurus. Ooh.
That was yeah.
Ooh, is there something we don't know? Is there something we don't know about Nicole Shanahan? Or dare I say, is Loomer getting funded by someone or something to run these narratives? Say it isn't so. I wouldn't be shocked, though.
The roots run deep.
Roots run deep. I mean, it appears like Laura Loomer is close to the Trump admin, but they could be having her close for a reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But that was double dash and everything.
Yeah.
you don't put that statement in between double dashes for nothing.
No. He wanted people to see that.
Casey has excelled in every endeavor she's undertaken. She was president of her undergrad class, top performer. She had the courage to leave traditional medicine because she realized her patients weren't getting better. That's the point we were making. The attacks that Casey is unqualified because she left the medical system completely missed the point of what we're trying to accomplish. Casey is the perfect choice for Surgeon General precisely because she left the traditional system. Her leadership has inspired many doctors to reform the system and forge a new path. After leaving traditional medicine, she started a company and wrote a best-selling book. The goal of MAHA is to reform the largest and most powerful industry in the U.S. I have little doubt that these companies and their conflicted media outlets will continue to pay bloggers and other social media influencers to weaponize innuendo to slander and vilify Casey, the same way they tried to defame me and President Trump. Damn, son.
Yep. Did about everything except drop a few names there.
Dang, son. All right. Well, Kennedy's got her back, so.
Yeah. He seems pretty certain.
Let's see. This is a clip of her now. Let's see how she speaks. Let's see what her angle is. This is her apparently on Joe Rogan, as per the background. When did this interview come out? Do you know when it came out?
I don't. I have no idea.
Well, let us listen.
We are getting destroyed, and it's very recent, and it's accelerating. The stats speak for themselves. You know this very well. 74% of Americans are overweight or obese. 50% now of American adults have type 2 diabetes or prediabetes. These were diseases where there was 1% of Americans in 1950 had type 2 diabetes. Now it's 50% of Americans have prediabetes or type 2 diabetes. Alzheimer's, dementia are going through the roof. Young adult dementias have increased like 3 times since 2012. So early onset dementias, we're seeing, this 1 in 2 Americans are expected to have cancer in their lifetime now. 1 in 2, and young adult cancers are going up 79% in the last 10 years. We've got, of course, the autism rates are absolutely astronomical. 1 in 36 children has autism now in the United States. That was 1 in 150 in the year 2000. And in California, where I live, it's 1 in 22 with a lifetime neurodevelopmental disorder. We've got infertility going up 1% per year. 25% of men now under 40 have erectile dysfunction. A quarter of the country. This is fundamentally a metabolic disease. We've got this with a root cause perspective. You go back to PubMed with a slightly different perspective, not how do I treat these diseases once they emerge, but why are they happening? You see a very obvious blaring answer, which is why we had to write a book about it, which is that it's all caused by metabolic dysfunction, a term that I never learned in medical school. I learned about metabolic syndrome and the different individual diseases that make it up, but there is a problem. There is a fundamental breaking of our core cellular biology that is caused by our diet and the world we're living in, the modern world we're living in today, that is crushing the very way that the human body and our human cells can transmit food energy to life energy, to cellular energy. And so our bodies are essentially, fundamentally, because metabolic health is how we make energy in the body, the way that our environment is now synergistic to storing our metabolic health, and the science is very clear about this, it's basically like all of us are a little bit dead while we're alive. That's what metabolic dysfunction is. It's less energy in the body. We're underpowered. And that's very dark. Like when you step back and say, okay, this is clear from the research, and I never learned it. I didn't learn it at Stanford Medical School. I didn't learn it in my surgical residency. And we could fix it. We could fix it really quickly if we all popped up and woke up and looked at the data and put pieces together. But of course, we're not trained to connect dots. That's not our job in medicine. We are trained to follow algorithms and to be reactive. And so I think, just to sort of kind of back up to the bigger picture of why we're so passionate about this, I think that the reason there's a MAHA movement, the reason that people are so passionate about your podcast that talks about this so much, people know that something's not right. And people know that this health issue is the tip of the iceberg of what's actually happening in our world today.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Yeah. I don't think she said anything too groundbreaking there. A lot of that was no shit Sherlock, but she's on Joe Rogan's podcast, so she's got to cover the basics for a mainstream audience. But yeah, absolutely. That's something I never would have expected any health official ever in any other presidential administration to talk about. So,
yep.
She sounds all right to me. I'd give her a chance. I don't care if she talks to trees. Bro, I've talked to plants before. Probably when I was taking the psilocybin, I was talking to the trees. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, man. Compare that to the, last 100 years of surgeon generals, and I would probably put her at the top of the list.
I saw Laura Loomer try to paint her as being some Marxist witch doctor just because she took a little bit of psilocybin. I'm like, oh my God. Live a little, dude.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I remember that story. Just a quick story. I remember in high school, there was this guy and we were talking about mushrooms and I hadn't tried them yet. And I wasn't awake to anything. And he's like, it totally changed my life, dude. And that kind of hit me. I was like, he's like, it changed my life. It's like, okay. And, a couple of years later, I'm like, all right, let's see what all this is about. And legitimately, he was right. If they're done in the right setting with the right intent, they can be groundbreaking for all kinds of personal issues. So as far as I'm concerned, dude, if she did mushrooms, then I actually trust her more. I know that sounds wild, but that's my perspective.
Absolutely. And you don't even have to do them. It's just the simple awareness about them. How do they function? How do they alter the pineal gland and DMT production within the pineal gland? What kind of alternate consciousness states do they induce? You don't even have to do them. Just learning about them can alter your perceptions and awareness. But if you stay in a rigid, fundamentalist, brainwashed box, like Laura Loomer, then
Yeah.
you're not going to experience different things, and you're going to be stuck until you, I don't know, humble yourself, I guess, are open to new experience and new information. Okay, let's move on from Casey Means. So we have another high-level appointment, the FDA's new top vaccine regulator. His name's Vinay Prasad, has been appointed by RFK Jr. Media doesn't like him. Controversial doctor is top vaccine regulator, blah, blah, blah. But he is now, let's see. Oh, they're replacing him with that Peter Marks guy. Or they're replacing that Peter Marks guy with him. So Peter Marks quit because he wanted to keep all the COVID-19 vaccine data secret.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we covered him a couple.
Yeah, we covered him a few weeks ago.
Yep.
And now RFK has replaced him with Vinay Prasad, an outspoken critic of COVID vaccines.
Yeah. Let's see here. Quick summary. He criticized the COVID-19 vaccine mandate, especially for children. Argued that healthy kids and low-risk groups may not need the COVID shots. Move, you sucker. Sorry, I'm trying to move my tab. Due to low risk of severe outcomes, advocated for randomized trials for the annual COVID vaccines. Questioned booster approvals for kids, citing insufficient data. And claimed public health overstepped by mandating vaccines for those with natural immunity. So sounds like everything that Big Pharma did not want.
Sounds like a win to me. Let's see. Then we got RFK saying that Biden's HHS was collaborating with child traffickers, and they're responsible for 300,000 missing children.
We have ended HHS as the role as the vector, the principal vector in this country for child trafficking. And during the Biden administration, HHS became a collaborator in child trafficking and for sex and for slavery. And we have ended that, and we're very aggressively going out and trying to find these children, 300,000 children that were lost by the Biden administration. We have ended HHS.
Dang, son. Dang. And then we have RFK Jr. also appearing with Trump, and Trump signed an executive order earlier this week banning gain of Fauci research. Gain of function, excuse me. Gain of Fauci research.
Yeah, I just can't. I'm thinking about that 300,000 kids. That just kind of sucked me in. Like, you imagine a stadium, what does a stadium hold? Like maybe 40,000 to, I think something like that. But like, how many stadiums full of kids that have gone missing in the United States? That is insane.
That's about 200 a day for all of Biden's administration.
Well, Godspeed. I hope they find them.
Yep. Over Biden's 4 years, that's 200 a day.
Yeah.
Insane. Cool. And here's RFK going on to Fox News the day that Trump signed that executive order banning gain of function research. Here's what RFK had to say.
As you pointed out, gain of function studies the kind of science that is designed to make microbes and pathogens more virulent, more transmissible, and more deadly. It was in this country, they started doing it in 1947, the military and the intelligence agencies, in order to develop bioweapons. In 1969, President Nixon banned it all and shut down Fort Detrick, shut down all the labs. That ban, and then signed the Bioweapons Convention. That ban lasted till 2001. And after the anthrax attacks, Anthony Fauci essentially restarted the arms race and the bioweapons arms race, and did it under the pretension of developing vaccines. because of the same science that you develop bioweapons and vaccines. In 2014, 3 of his bugs escaped, and 300 scientists wrote letters to President Obama asking him to shut down Anthony Fauci. President Obama declared a moratorium, but instead of shutting down his experiments, he moved them offshore, mainly to the Wuhan lab. And now, the principal institutions of our government, the CIA, the FBI, the State Department, Department of Energy, all say that it is most likely that those experiments resulted in the COVID-19 pandemic beginning in 2019. So President Trump today moved to shut down this kind of research in this country and to stop funding it abroad.
So he said that there was a ban on gain-of-function research for decades until the anthrax attacks in 2001,
as
right?
you pointed out.
Yep.
That makes me wonder because during those anthrax attacks, weren't random letters with white powder getting mailed to people like all over Washington, D.C. or something?
Yes.
I vaguely remember that. I was quite young, but
Yeah.
let's see. Several anthrax attacks occurred in the U.S. It's just...
And that couldn't have been too far before September 11th.
Yeah, actually, it was right after September 11th.
It was right after. Okay.
It's like a week after. Holy shit.
Wow. How coincidental.
2001 anthrax attacks. Letters containing anthrax were mailed to several news media offices and to senators. It doesn't look like they ever... location, Washington, D.C., West Palm Beach, New York City.
Yeah. So September 11th, anthrax attacks, and then they dropped the Patriot Act.
It doesn't look like they ever really arrested anybody over it. There was one guy... a bioweapons expert who was exonerated, and then the feds started investigating another guy who worked at Fort Detrick. He was put under intense surveillance, and then a year later, he died by suicide.
Was he
What do you
friends
know?
with Hillary?
It makes me wonder if this whole anthrax attacks thing was a fabricated psyop specifically to push bioweapons research, like gain-of-function research, to be legalized again.
I mean, well, they definitely had to create a state of fear and panic. And
like, look at this. The first letter was sent out on 9/11. I guess this is one of the letters that anthrax came in. Death to America, death to Israel. Allah is great. Take penicillin now. Oh, yeah. This looks like some CIA Fed boy wrote it.
Interesting.
Just makes me wonder, listening to RFK there, if this was a psyop to get gain-of-function research going again.
Well, I mean, if I remember right, when the Patriot Act passed, it was basically a massive bill that was dropped in front of them, and they passed it before anybody got to read it. Is that correct?
I don't.
It was one of those you have to pass it to read it type bills.
Yeah, maybe.
Pelosi's famous quote. But yeah.
Anyway, there's RFK. Also, something that piqued my interest in this was RFK mentioning that the COVID pandemic started in 2019. He didn't say 2020. He said 2019. So.
Well, and he directly calls out Fauci and Obama.
Yep. And speaking of Fort Detrick, Wait, no, this isn't Fort Detrick. Frederick, Maryland. Those are different, right?
I believe so.
Do you believe? No, yeah, this is Fort Detrick. Fort Detrick's in Frederick, Maryland, but that's an Army lab. This is also in Frederick, Maryland, but NIH lab. Okay, anyway, 2 weeks ago, the director of NIH ordered a halt to a high biosecurity risk lab located in Frederick, Maryland. I did this because of a serious incident involving biosafety that occurred in early March, but which did not cross my desk until weeks later. What were you telling me about this one?
So apparently, the risk was some disgruntled employee punched a hole in another employee's suit. That apparently that was the issue, and so I mean, you got to be pretty disgruntled to punch a hole and risk a fellow worker in a lab leak. So.
Turns out a contractor at the lab deliberately cut a hole in a biocontainment suit over a personal dispute. You slept with my wife. Poke a couple tiny holes in it or something.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Lab leaks can happen. So he just closed down the whole friggin' lab.
I mean, I understand, like the enemy's going to make it, so we have to make it first. But it's like you step back as like humanity. Like, what are you doing? Why are we playing with, things that can leak and infect the population and cause chaos?
Something I ask myself all the time. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Yeah.
One last media note. Wired used the incident to somehow paint RFK Jr.'s anti-science. He was acting responsibly to protect the public from a high-risk lab with a poor safety record, but they ignored that in their story. Sheesh.
Of course they did. Well,
all right, let's rapid fire through the last few things here. So,
okay.
RFK Jr. announced that Tyson Foods is eliminating food colorings by the end of May. Cool. If this giant company can do it in a month, why can't others?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Although Tyson Foods still makes garbage foods, so I'm not buying their shit.
Tyson is still, it's primarily all their manufacturing, their CAFO operations are all in United States, if I understand correctly.
Just giant chicken prisons.
Yeah.
Where you
those videos of how they rake up all the chicks and all that stuff, it's terrible.
Oh, sometimes I agree with PETA.
Yeah.
Yeah,
to a certain extent.
To a certain extent. It's just when they get into their provocateur vigilante activism's pretty ridiculous. But I fully agree with their sentiment that these giant factory farms where cows are sleeping in their own shit and chickens have about this much cage space and they're just disgusting and sick, and that's the reason all the cows and chickens need so much antibiotics is because they're freaking infected from eating and sleeping in their own shit, and it's horrible. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
So Tyson Foods can get wrecked, but
yeah, still not going to eat it, but this is a step in the right direction.
No red 40 in their chicken, I guess. Speaking of the means, Callie Means posted this news story from yesterday. Can someone please explain to me why health experts would be alarmed at conducting science on new drugs?
Yeah, this is crazy. The Washington Post.
Oh no, how horrible. RFK Jr. will order placebo testing for new vaccines. Alarming health experts.
Yeah, like ding, ding, ding. Your shitty vaccines will not stand up to placebo tests.
A potential change outlined in a statement would require all new vaccines to undergo placebo testing, sparking concerns among medical experts.
What kind of concerns? Like, what are they concerned about?
Getting their payment, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think they're going back and doing this with old vaccines too. I mean, if I understand what they were saying at NIH, doing good science, real science.
I wonder if we'll do it with animal vaccines too.
That would be fabulous.
Something that doesn't get talked about that much. Animal shots.
Yeah. Yep.
If and when I get a dog, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to vaccinate.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to think about that one.
Well, don't ask for a vet's opinion.
Attorney General Ken Paxton in Texas breaking. I have launched investigations into companies for illegally marketing toothpaste products containing fluoride to kids. I will use every tool available to protect our children from dangerous levels of fluoride exposure and deceptive advertising. What does it say? How is it deceptive? It's Crest. He's investigating Colgate and Procter & Gamble. Procter & Gamble owns Crest for marketing toothpaste products in ways that are deceptive.
Released meta-analysis that found a statistically significant association between fluoride exposure and lower IQ scores for children.
The CDC states that parents should only put a rice-sized smear of toothpaste on the brush until the child turns 3. The American Dental Association has also stated that parents should use no more than a pea-sized amount of fluoride toothpaste for children 3 to 6. However, despite these guidelines, toothpaste manufacturers continue to flavor their products and deceptively market them in ways that encourage kids to ingest fluoride toothpaste.
Yep.
And mislead their parents to use far more than the safe and recommended amount of toothpaste, which makes sense because you see the sales graphics or the commercials for these things, and they've got a whole glob of perfectly smooth toothpaste
colorful,
smeared
glittery.
on it, and it's like the whole size of the bristles.
Yep.
But apparently you should only put a rice-sized smear for a 3-year-old.
Well, when I was a kid, I never put a pea-sized or rice-sized. It was like, oh man, stuff tastes good. Just glop.
Right.
Glop
Yeah, that explains a lot. Yeah.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that.
Well, cool. Down with big toothpaste.
Yep.
Then in Florida, Florida makes history. Geoengineering now a felony. No more cloud seeding, atmospheric spraying, solar blocking, weather manipulation, blah-de, 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 blah. I don't know if this is going to do anything.
Yeah, I mean, that's what are they going to chase down the pilots and then that pilot leaves Florida? Like, do they stop at the line and say, dang, we missed them. We'll get them next time.
Shoot them down. Ron DeSantis is going to order the National Guard to have an iron dome around Florida.
I don't know. It's 2025, dude. You never know.
Well, if you have a plane that begins spraying, say, in Georgia or over the coast or something, and then it enters Florida airspace, how would they know that plane is spraying?
How high up does airspace go? Like, how high up does Florida own the airspace? I'm curious.
Good point, too. Yeah, and how would they know a plane is spraying? And if they do see a plane spraying, I guess they could call the FAA and get the numbers for it or the registration for it or whatever. But it just seems like the logistics of being able to prosecute for it would just be like, how would that even happen? And then also from my conspiracy theory research, a lot of these planes that are spraying are probably owned by shell companies. So
Yeah.
it's just, I think if anything substantial needs to get done about geoengineering, it has to come from a federal level. Honestly, I think these states like Tennessee and Florida and Kentucky that are banning geoengineering, I think it's more just a show.
Okay, so check this out. This is what Grok says. It says typically Florida's airspace ownership is limited by federal law. So it looks like there's no specific height is defined, but U.S. versus Cosby in 1946 suggests at least 83 feet. So typically 300 to 500 feet. Like I think that's the low fly zone in urban areas. Florida can regulate zoning and land use below 500 to 1,000 feet, but federal law governs higher altitudes, often 18,000 plus feet for activities like geoengineering. So it sounds like banning geoengineering at the state level is only good up to 1,000 feet.
Yeah, maybe they have the altitude written in the bill. But even then, like, how would they even enforce it? How would they know? What if I think the only substantial anything to get done about it would be a federal legislation. But even then, if you see a plane spraying in the sky, there's so much plausible deniability they have.
Yeah.
Like any company, the company that owns that plane could say, "Oh no, we weren't spraying. It's just contrails. It's just water vapor."
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. There's
Did we cover in the last episode? Did we cover RFK calling out DARPA? I don't recall. So. Okay.
Maybe not. Maybe we did.
I can't. Yeah. So he basically said he was interviewed. I can't remember if we covered this or not, but he said that it was somehow tied to DARPA, and he mentioned something about the jet fuel. So.
Yeah, that was on a Dr. Phil show. So RFK was asked a question during a town hall, and yeah, he said it's connected to DARPA, he thinks, and it's added to the jet fuel. So yeah, I mean, if it's a federal agency that's running the programs or a shell corporation of a federal agency, I don't think these states are going to be able to do anything. I think this is all PR.
It may put pressure, and then stir up public sentiment. I mean, at least it's getting awareness at a state level. I mean, I shouldn't complain about that.
Yeah, I'm not complaining about the awareness, but I just don't think it means much.
Yeah, for immediate results.
Florida DEP, Department of Environmental Protection, I'm taking that as.
Yeah.
Florida DEP will launch a hotline so you can report suspicious atmospheric activity. People be calling that shit all day long.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Huh.
I'm about to just like put a smoke grenade on a drone or something and fly it over Miami Beach.
Did you see that video of the guy, the biker dude in Kansas, and there was like this black ring in the sky? I don't know if it's AI or not, but
was it a smoke ring?
It didn't appear to be smoke.
So sometimes I've seen over the years, I've seen videos surface every once in a while where this like black smoke ring rises, and those can actually be from transformer explosions. So a transformer on a power pole can pop, and then it like comes out of the cylinder can, this black smoke ring comes out, and it looks a little freaky until you actually see a transformer blow and the smoke ring come out. And you're like, oh, okay, that's transformer. So it's not aliens or anything.
Yeah. Well, possibly it was that then.
Yeah.
Because it did dissipate, but it was really dense. That was kind of wild to see.
Yeah, they look once you see, I mean, I wonder if I can find the video real quick, but
that's interesting though. I mean that.
All right. Can you read this while I look for that?
Yeah, sure. So this is a high certainty that cell phone radiation linked to cancer in animals. WHO study finds. That's interesting that WHO is calling out cell phone radiation. The experts say it's time for the World Health Organization to classify wireless radiation as a known human carcinogen after a review commissioned by the organization concluded there is a high certainty of evidence that cell phone radiation exposure causes 2 types of cancer in animals. No bueno. So that means pull the phones out of your bras. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are blown transformers.
Dude, you called that right away.
Yeah, I've seen this before.
Okay.
I've been around the internet block.
Yeah, right.
I know what's gone viral and what people falsely claim about the crap that goes viral, and then I look into it and increase my awareness. So, yeah, these are blown transformers.
And the ball lightning videos are AI.
Most of those ball lightnings are AI. Yeah.
There was 2 of them that have really been making the rounds the last 2 weeks.
I do wonder if some of those atmospheric ball light phenomena could be plasma from the Earth's atmosphere, but I don't know which one you're talking about. So,
there's 2. There was one that was like bouncing all around a parking lot, and it like touched a tree, and the tree just like blew up like 20 feet taller and bigger.
Oh yeah, that might be AI.
And then there's another one with it bouncing around in Walmart. And if you look at the word, the text, but it is freaky because AI is getting tremendous. I mean, it's hard to differentiate. It's hard to look at that and say it's fake. It's the text that gives it away now, but how long before AI perfects text? And we're not able to tell, fake versus reality.
Yeah, AI had a tough time doing hands and fingers on humans for a while there, but I think it's gotten that down now.
Yeah.
So I tried using an AI program for marketing purposes for my supplement products, and it was terrible with text. I couldn't use it because it couldn't get words right.
Yeah, even if you provide it with an image, it still doesn't.
Yeah, it would just always mess up the words on the label. But it's only a matter of time before AI can start doing text. So,
yeah.
Don't believe anything online. Nate, do you like eating protein?
I love protein.
I think you're a Nazi.
Dang it.
You must be a far-right fascist Nazi.
If I have to take the term to eat my meat, I will hang on to that.
Gay?
Yeah, this is crazy. So if you're into fitness, if you like having a strong body, you are a Nazi.
You remember this one? The far right's obsession with fitness is going digital.
Yeah.
If you eat protein and work out, you're a Nazi.
So now they're trying to separate us based on your physical fitness level. Like first the skin color, religious views. Now it's...
Well, here's what I'm going to do. When I go to the gym and do my delt raises, I'm going to do them like this. My front delt raises.
Oh man, should start a gym and play off of the start a gym chain.
Damn it,
Heil Fitness. Did I take that too far?
All right. Anyway, eat protein, racist. Go to the gym, Nazi. Whatever, dude. And then to finish up, Bill Gates is giving away all his money and calling it quits.
You said something pretty interesting when we were talking about this before the show.
Oh yeah, so apparently Bill Gates is giving away 99% of his money, and then in like 10, 15 years, he's going to close down his foundations. And I'm just, when I first saw this story, my first thought was, well, he's just trying to give his money away before they freeze his assets and then try to run off into the sunset. But I imagine he's probably going to be giving his money to a bunch of nonprofit foundations and just a bunch of shill woke BS that but also, I mean, I think he was on an interview this morning where he was complaining about USAID and how USAID money is getting stomped out. So his Illuminati overlords are probably stressed for cash right now, so they took all of the blackmail videos they have on Bill Gates from Epstein's Island, and they're like, okay, Bill, you're going to give away your money to our NGOs that are starving for cash right now.
Yeah.
Or if something's going on here, right?
That's interesting. Yeah, why else would he announce that he's shutting down? Because up until now, he seemed like he's pretty gung-ho.
He's like, I'm gonna give away all my money and run to whatever private island I can.
Yeah, go hang out with Thanos.
Everybody's wondering about Epstein's list. I want to know where Epstein's jet is.
Wait, put a black light or what?
The Lolita Express, the jet itself. I want to know where the jet is.
No
idea.
idea.
Do the feds have it? Where's it at? What's it doing?
Bill Gates hangar.
In where's Bill Gates' house? Mercer Island, I think, or Bellevue, Washington, or something.
Yeah. I don't know.
Everybody wants Epstein's list, but what's Epstein's, like, what's going on with the island these days? I think somebody bought it on a private sale. What's going on with his planes? What about Ghislaine's submarine?
You know, I saw BioClandestine. I think he was the one that dropped this, but he put a post up and he said everybody's freaking out about the Epstein list and wanting to see it. But he pointed to the fact that what's most important is rescuing the kids from the situations that they're in. And the list is secondary to, pulling these kids out of those situations. So, that's
but also, if there's any active investigations going on, we're not going to see that list.
Yeah.
Well, we're not going to see any Epstein related evidence until indictments go down. So, and I still have faith that indictments will go down for COVID as well and all these other things. But you're not going to see evidence until shit hits the fan. So people have to stop getting all butthurt and impatient over Epstein's list.
Yeah. I get wanting to see it and see the good,
for sure.
But it doesn't do anything to move us forward. When I really know that we'll be winning is when there are indictments for 9/11.
Yeah. I still have faith that things are going to happen, but I also understand that it takes time, and there's plenty of things to focus on in my life, in my direct vicinity, that, it'll happen when it happens. I don't need to be crying about Epstein's list and all that shit. So, all right. I think that finishes it up, man.
Right on. Have a good weekend, y'all.
You have an amazing weekend. Another episode of MAHA News in the books. We will see what happens over the next week.
Cool.
Take care, everybody.
Later.
Have a beautiful weekend. Experience the miracle of a God-given first responder for your health and an ally in your body that fights everything from minor ailments to major health threats. That ally is your immune system. At Pet Club 24/7, they harness the ancient wisdom of nature with their exclusive potent strain of medicinal mushrooms, revered for thousands of years for their immune-supporting properties that are extremely safe, with no additions or overdoses, no side effects, and no interactions with medications. Transform how you manage health with their all-natural products and help Pet Club change the world one pet and one person at a time. Visit badlandsmedia.tv/pet club to explore how they're redefining wellness for both pets and people. That's badlandsmedia.tv/pet club, treating pets and their parents better.
Thank you so much for joining us, and don't forget to hit the thumbs up on this video. And a special thank you to all of our advertising partners. Please remember to shift your dollars to support those businesses that support Badlands Media.